You can have all that you wanted, darling. Know the world is yours. I've been up chasing the sunset, just
My name is Diko Chekyan, and I stand with Artsakh. Together, united, we will win. Hachdeluyenk.
Hi, my name is Taltavi Kovanisian. I live in Fresno, California. I'm Armenian, and I support Artsakh. Artsakh is Armenia, and so are all the peaceful civilians that live there.
My name is Marina Vartanyan Peters. I'm a proud Armenian, and I stand with Artsakh. I call on all my non-Armenian friends to join us in raising awareness of the humanitarian crisis taking place in Armenia.
I stand with Artsakh. I stand with Armenia. Artsakh is Armenian. My heart is breaking for my country and my people. We need justice and we want peace. Armenia does not want war. We don't want a second genocide to happen. My thoughts and prayers go out to all our soldiers, our fallen heroes, and all the Armenians around the world. We are with you.
Hi, my name is Arthur Al-Fedosian. I'm a proud Armenian and I stand with Artsakh. Please help us by sharing this message and creating awareness of what's going on in our motherland. We need your help, and if you find it in your heart, please help donate.
I'm Liana Ojikan. I'm proud to be Armenian, and I'm proudly standing with my nation. Artsakh is Armenia.
Գրվում ենք այսպես, խփում ենք Թուրքին ախպերս ու ես, եկել ենք կռիվ, գրվում ենք այսպես, խփում ենք Թուրքին ախպերս ու ես.
Welcome to the Sparkle Show. Hi, Mary. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. So tell us, what is going on in Armenia right now?
Well, okay. That's
say it like so you're talking to somebody who has no idea what Armenia is.
Yeah, like that's the thing. I would kind of have to start. Well, there is a war going on right now, but you would have to know kind of like just a little background of why there's a war going on and what's going on. Because,
so give us a little background.
Okay, so for starters, okay, I don't even know how I would start this, but so on September 27th, Azerbaijan attacked a region of heavily populated Armenian civilians, but it is technically known as a part of Azerbaijan. Internationally, it's known as, but the people that live in the area of Artsakh, which is also known as Nagorno-Karabakh, internationally, that's what it's known as, but the Armenian people know it as Artsakh because that's what it's always been since like the 5th century, like right. As long as anyone has ever known it. But they attacked Armenians, like heavily forces, they've been attacking the main cities or civilians, hospitals, churches, elementary schools, like what you name it. They've been attacking everything, trying to get the Armenian people and the forces out of that area because they claim it as theirs. But the history behind that is that area, even Azerbaijan, was Armenia at one point until after the genocide happened. When Armenia needed help, we joined the Soviet Union, and Stalin gave a part of our land, like a large part of our land, to Azerbaijan. But when the Soviet Union broke off, Armenians decided that because there's no more Soviet Union, we can take this land again. Like, this is ours, we live on it. 99% of the population literally is Armenians in that land. So since then, since the early 90s, little late 80s, Armenians have been fighting to get their land back, because starting when the Soviet Union started to fall apart, Azerbaijan started attacking Armenian civilians in Baku, targeting them, and they would even give awards to people that would kill Armenians because they were just trying to get Armenians out of Azerbaijan. There's the Baku program, also the Sumgate, I think it's called the Sumgate. That's I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but there was a lot of programs that were attacking Armenian civilians in Armenia. So Armenians have always been attacked and killed just for being Armenian in Azerbaijan. So them trying to take our land right now is kind of like a threat on, like, ethnic cleansing. Like, that's pretty much what they're trying to do. They're just trying to kill off Armenians with the help of Turkey. And that's why we're making it such a big deal, because this isn't just for a piece of land. This is like attacking our homeland. They're attacking not even just Armenians in that area, but Armenians all around the world are being threatened and attacked by Azeri and Turkish people.
So this has been going on forever. What was it that finally snapped to make this happen on September? What was the breaking point of why this all came to a head right now?
This year, well, in July, end of July, they actually attacked us, but they attacked Armenia, not the Republic of Artsakh. They attacked the Republic of Armenia, and that was about, I think, 2 weeks, if I'm not wrong. It's around a week and a half. There was like a little ongoing like war that Azerbaijan just started attacking Armenia, and we thought that was over with until September 27th, when they heavily shelled Stepanakert, which is the largest city in Nagorno-Karabakh, Artsakh.
So what can we do as a community to help Armenia at this point in time? And do you want to talk a little bit about the history that America has with not recognizing the Armenian genocide?
Well, yeah, that's also another thing that we're kind of disappointed at, because America doesn't recognize it as Armenian genocide, which is why I feel like Turkey thinks it's okay to even do this. Because if Germany just randomly started attacking Jews again, like, it would be the biggest thing, especially during a pandemic. But because it's not internationally recognized as a genocide in a couple countries, it's kind of looked just like something to talk about. It's not something like huge like that the world should be worried about, that literally there might be an ethnic cleansing, another genocide, because of this dictatorship that wants to take over Armenia.
And how is it, do you feel, growing up, where have you grown up your whole life?
Here in Fresno.
Okay. So what was, I mean, how do you feel living in a country that doesn't recognize your country's genocide, that where you come from?
Well, honestly, not good. Every year we march to get the genocide recognized, and actually this year the U.S. House of Representatives and Congress both recognized it, but it didn't go through. It's honestly, yeah, it's difficult, but we know that it happened, and that's why we're gonna keep fighting for it to get recognized. We know that Armenia doesn't have much to offer, and that's why countries don't really they don't recognize it. They don't really, we have zero aid right now. No country is, of course they've said we support, France has said it, Canada has said it. They've said we support Armenia, but they haven't done anything to help us, really.
I heard even Iran was jumping on the bandwagon to say that as well.
Yeah, well, if it wasn't for Iran, we wouldn't, right now, all of our borders would be closed because even Georgia has closed their borders to us. So right now we're stuck between Turkey, Georgia, Azerbaijan, and then Iran is below us. And Iran is our only way to even like get out of the country. Like that's our only opening into Armenia right now because Turkey blocked off all airspace like that has to do with Armenia. They won't let anything like go through their airspace. And same with Georgia. And obviously we're at war with Azerbaijan, so we can't use that.
So what can we do as a community? People ask what they can be doing. I know there's a lot of events, there's a lot of products we could buy, and the money will go to aid Armenia. So there's a lot of that going on. What are some things you could say that we could do as a community that your friends and family and everybody watching can do?
Well, of course, the number one thing that is literally priceless. Like, it's just easy, like, just to talk about Armenia, to show that you support Armenia, because that really helps and gives high spirits to the people in Armenia to know that there are people who support them. Like, you know, it gives them faith to keep going because, like, it is such a hard time. And so many of our soldiers, like, I believe we're almost at 800 soldiers that have died, which is an enormous number with just 3 million, like, civilians in Armenia. Like, that many people dying in, like, 3-4 weeks is just crazy. So just to talk about it with your friends and family, to post about it, that really helps us, because there's so much, like, Azerbaijan has so many allies, so many powerful allies, so much money, oil, like, that they have, that they're paying news stations, they're paying countries to not support us, to put out propaganda. I feel like they're almost beating North Korea when it comes to propaganda. They're using a lot of Armenian pictures, just everything that they're doing to us, they're blaming it on us. So they'll do something and then they'll blame it on us. So we need to make sure that we get the truth out and people are talking about it. Also, obviously, you can donate to the Armenia Fund, which goes directly to Armenia, and it is a donation link from Armenia, which will help us buy everything that we need for our army, because we don't have a big budget. Like, there are people richer than Armenia's army budget. So if we can just donate, get them the supplies they need, yeah. And we also do have a lot of protests. Like, you know, it doesn't always have to be donating. It just has to be, like, spreading the truth, because we're fighting such a powerful country that has so much money for propaganda, even in America.
Their end game is pretty much to eradicate Armenians, because there's not much to even take. I mean, it's a very poor country with very little to take, and they're trying to take everything from people that literally have nothing.
Yes, exactly. And that's why we're going so, like, we're so strong about this, because it's a country that's committed genocide towards us, like, since they've even become a country. And it's like, we just need to get the truth out, because they're just spreading so many lies.
What are some positive changes that you've seen? I mean, I know that Kim Kardashian has been speaking out and doing some stuff. I know that Trump gave Armenia a shout out. There were, like, little movements.
Yeah.
What are some that you can share with us that you've seen that is a positive change in the right direction for Armenia to get recognized?
For sure. I think the most positive one was when France was one of the first countries that actually, like, said that Azerbaijan is the aggressor and they need to be stopped, and that helped with Canada. Canada stopped all exportations with Turkey. And that helped a lot of other countries like Spain, like a lot of European countries that started recognizing Artsakh, because because France said something, Canada followed and actually did something to help us. And that helped, like, a lot of other, like, countries speak out about it, rather than, like, they have recognized Artsakh as their own republic. And that's what we ultimately want. Because since it is internationally known as Azerbaijan, a lot of people are saying, well, you're occupying that land, but how can someone who's been there for so many centuries, like, not decades, centuries, be occupying land, you know?
Right. So those are some positive changes. Have you heard of any talk about America ever recognizing that there was a genocide? What are the steps we're taking, and what can we do for that? Because in the back of my mind, I've always wondered, if we raise enough noise now, can that happen in the near future? I was wondering if that was a positive that could come out. Are you guys seeing that as a positive? I mean, what's the talk that you've heard about this?
Well, I know that Turkey and America kind of have like ties together. They're almost like allies. So, I mean, it would be, I don't even know, I'd probably take a miracle for a president to actually recognize it, even though, you know, the House has recognized it, the House of Representatives and Congress. And I feel like that already says so much. Like, just because the president didn't sign it off doesn't mean that the country doesn't recognize it. And I don't like that a lot of governments are representation of their civilians, because a lot of times the governments are not that at all, and it shouldn't be like that. I feel like America has recognized Armenian genocide. It might not be officially, like, everyone thinks that. I mean, everyone should, but it's not officially recognized according to the UN, you know what I mean? But I know Colorado teaches about the Armenian genocide starting in July. They passed a thing that they are going to teach about the Armenian genocide, that it did happen. Also, I know that
That's amazing.
LA is actually they have a holiday for the day that we commemorate the genocide. So we're taking small steps there with our, you know, protesting. Things are working, of course. It was honestly a win for us to have, like, Trump right now say that he sees Armenians, and he did say a couple, like, he gave us compliments, which is good, because of course it's just, you know, almost like talk and there's like no action, but at the same time I feel like he has such a big influence on so many Americans. Like, it's good that he said something good, because if he said something good about Azerbaijan, who knows what that could have done, like how much harm that could have done. And so it's almost like beggars can't be choosers. You kind of have to take all the support that you're getting and be appreciative towards it.
What are Armenians saying? And I'm really sorry if this comes across as a controversial question, but you're kind of in the mix and you're kind of seeing this and you're kind of going these rallies. I'm going to ask you, with the Black Lives Matter movement, we saw a lot of people going to protests that were of every race.
Yes.
And we also saw that they recognized that to help, we should do business with certain people. Like, we want to support that, we do business with all the Black owned businesses. And there was like a list that went around with that. Do you feel like we're getting the same support? Has there been a list going around of all the Armenian businesses we should be doing? And do you ever see anybody besides Armenians protesting for our rights? Or it's mainly largely Armenians, correct?
Yes, of course. A majority, like about 90% of the people protesting, probably 95% are Armenians. But yes, there are a couple people here and there that have been coming out to the protest, which we're very thankful for, you know, because I don't know, as an Armenian, like, when you see that someone that isn't Armenian is supporting you, like, it really is like the biggest, I don't know, you just
the biggest, yeah, because
like,
you don't see that a lot.
Exactly, you don't. It's not like the Black Lives Matter where everyone has it in their bio, everyone posted something about it, and it should be, because, like, you shouldn't pick and choose what you want to stand for, especially when there's, like, a genocide, pretty much. Like, when you have one small country being attacked by Turkey, Azerbaijan, Israel, like Pakistan, like all of these big countries that are attacking this tiny little country, I think everyone should speak out about it, because people are dying, and I think you should stand up. When people are dying, you should stand up. And not to say that Black Lives Matter, like, no one should have done that much, of course. Everyone should stand up for everything, and they shouldn't pick and choose what they should stand up for.
We just want the same kind of support, basically.
Exactly.
That we're all pretty much fighting a lot of the same needs that we want to be recognized, we want to be appreciated, want to be. And so, no, I get that. I just wanted to hear what you were hearing from everybody else, because every time you see the protests, it's just all Armenian.
Yeah, exactly. No, 100%. I think because, and I know a lot of Armenians that did go to Black Lives Matter protests, because
exactly, me too.
Exactly. We've been oppressed for so long. We always stand up for people who have been oppressed.
We're always for the underdog.
Exactly. And it just sucks that we don't get the same thing. Like, exactly. Not a lot of other people. Like, I know a couple celebrities, they posted about it and then deleted it because there's been so many, like, Azerbaijan bots that go and attack them. And it's just like, why would you delete it? Like, You know what I mean? It's almost as worse. Like, you just shouldn't have posted it.
Right. I totally understand that. Okay, so what about our little government and like of Fresno? What should we be doing? Should we be writing to our mayors? I've interviewed the Clovis mayor and the Fresno mayor. Is there people, what should we do locally for support besides donating to the Armenia Fund? What changes should we be making here? Because Fresno has a large population of Armenians.
Yes, of course. Definitely, we should reach out to them. We should reach out to our representatives, our congressmen, like anyone who's in politics in Fresno. I think we should reach out to them and tell them that they should try to find a resolution, or they should do something about it and talk to the president and make him either stop funding Azerbaijan, because America gives, I believe it's $100 million to Azerbaijan in aid every year. So that aid is going to help kill Armenians right now. So if we could just help them, if we could just write to them, tell them to tell like the president, you know, just more people, if all of America says it, then I feel like you should stop it. Like at least for a period of time while they are doing all these war crimes towards Armenians. Like, my money shouldn't have to go towards a country that is committing genocide against another country. And I think we should all write to them and help them. I mean, write to them. Why do I keep saying help? So that we can help the Armenian people and stop funding Azerbaijan, a terrorist state, which they are using. We found out that they are using terrorists to help kill Armenians.
How safe are Armenians in the United States? What is some of the talk that you've heard? Do you feel that your life may be in danger and that my life may be in danger anytime soon?
In Fresno, I believe because our community is, we have such a big community here, I wouldn't feel endangered in Fresno, but I know in San Francisco, they actually, around Armenians, they were telling them to be careful because there are a lot of Azeri and Turks that are going around and targeting Armenians. They've targeted schools in LA and San Francisco, like Armenian schools. They've targeted Armenian people. So yeah, in places where there are a large population of Azeri and Turks, like they aren't safe, you know, they're definitely being targeted.
What are some misconceptions you've heard a lot about Armenians that you want to like talk about? I mean, I know that a lot of people don't know we're one of the first countries to declare Christianity as its state religion. Right? You know, they're like, we're Christians. What are some other things that you've heard of?
About Armenia? Like,
yeah, like just something
mean, like,
like, because I mean, a lot of times people don't know that we're Christians and that we're actually very strongly that. So what are some other things that you've heard talk of? So when you meet people for the first time that aren't Armenian that you want to share and be like, you know, this, you probably heard this, but this isn't true, or this is true. Just something you want to share about our culture and people.
Yeah, well, like I said, you know, Azerbaijan is really their propaganda machine is so strong that one of the things that Azerbaijanis are putting out is that the Khojaly massacre, which was not, they were blaming it on Armenians and saying that Armenians had massacred them and they're the ones who want peace and we're the aggressors and we're the ones that are killing them. And definitely want to clear that up, because in 1988 is when the Azeris started attacking Armenians, with heavily, we're attacking, we're bombing, we're killing in the middle of the streets. They would take Armenians and kill them in front of their families. What happened was Armenians stood up and they said, we can't take this anymore. And so the only chance that they had to winning it was going to their military base in Khojaly and stopping their base, pretty much attacking the base that was attacking them. And what Azerbaijanis do is they put their bases behind civilians, so that if we are to attack them or try to stop them, it looks like we're attacking their civilians. And the Armenian government at that time, the people, they actually sent out news reports and they told the civilians, like, leave this area because we have to come. Like, if we want to survive, we have to stop the military in that area. And for a week straight, they told the civilians, please leave this area. What happened was Azerbaijan didn't let the civilians leave that area because they wanted it to look like Armenians were attacking them. So when the Armenians went and they attacked the military base. Obviously there's casualties in war, which I don't like to say because, you know, human life shouldn't, like, that shouldn't be a casualty, like, obviously, but there were casualties. But what happened was, after Armenia did win that war, and we did have a ceasefire, so which is why they keep breaking that ceasefire that we got in 1994. But what happened was the Azeri government they controlled the media back then. And so what they did was they kind of made the killings look worse. They made them look like massacres. They spread lies. The reporters that even wanted to report about the truth actually got killed. They died. So they kind of just flipped it on us. They said that we killed their civilians, but really what happened was they made it look worse. So after, which is like terrible to say that, they went back and a couple days later, it was worse than it was. So that is one of the myths that they keep saying that Armenians did, which Armenians, obviously there were casualties, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like we forcefully went and did that to their civilians. It was almost like the Azeri government did it to their civilians and blamed it on Armenians. That is definitely one of the myths that I don't like. Every time they bring it up, like, it just, they say that Armenians are baby killers, but they're the ones attacking our elementary schools, our civilians. What else is there? Yeah, that's what I can think of at the top of my head.
And I'm assuming that you're probably like a survivor from people that fled the genocide, as I am. And that's part of how a lot of us ended up in Fresno, right?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. That is, my great grandparents were Armenian genocide survivors. Actually, my grandma's dad didn't make it. So yeah.
Right. Yeah. My great grandma saw her dad beheaded in front of her. Exactly. And people just don't know about these things because we're not taught in school. And hopefully we could change that.
Exactly. Hopefully everyone follows Colorado and makes it, you know, a priority to, or a requirement to speak about and teach about the Armenian genocide, because a lot of people don't. And I feel like if it wasn't for Kim Kardashian, a lot of people wouldn't even know what an Armenian is. Because I remember in elementary school, people would be like, what's that? But now they're like, oh, like Kim Kardashian. It's like, yes, but we have, like, you know, like there's more to Armenia than just Kim Kardashian.
Right. Are there any events coming up currently that we could march at, that we could protest, an event that's coming up that we could support at the churches that are having food that we could buy? What events are coming up?
Definitely right now there is it's like a poker night, but it's like
the house party.
Yeah. There's
Is there one more open to the public? I know I've heard about that one, but was there one?
Oh yeah, you have?
Public? Yeah.
Well, on Sunday they had a memorial for the fallen soldiers at Fresno State near the genocide monument. But the thing is, we kind of stopped in Fresno. We stopped protesting because of what's going on in Fresno and how dangerous it is to be out right now. We haven't been out there just for the safety of us and others. But yeah, Fresno Armenians, the Instagram, they're the ones that do all of that. And right now they said they're not really protesting that much just because, you know, there's so much bad stuff happening in Fresno. But definitely if people want to know where they can protest at, to follow the Fresno Armenians page just to see when there is a next protest. I wish, like, we were protesting every day until that happened. Every day, like, we were protesting, yeah.
Well, so I'm sure it will come back up again. And thank you so much, Mary, for sitting down and talking to me. I mean, it's so cool. Like, we're both Fresno Armenians in the fitness industry. So are you still in the fitness industry?
Yes, well, I still work even though, you know, COVID happened, so I don't have that many hours, but I still do work at Valley Fitness Nutrition, which is Armenian owned, so you should support it.
Yes.
And just support Armenian businesses because we really need it right now. Like, a lot of the people that have taken a big hit from COVID are still supporting and sending proceeds to Armenia.
Definitely. Thank you so much, Mary.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome to the Sparkle Show. With us, we have Phil. Phil, tell us what you are working on right now.
Hi, Sparkle. Thanks for inviting us on the show. We're working on, it's actually a feature film. It's called Guns, Drugs and Rivals. And that feature film then has an attachment, another attachment of a TV series attached to it with 16 TV episodes. So we've been busy. It's 5 years writing in the making. So we've been very, very busy. There's a lot of stuff going on at the moment because in Ireland at the moment we're in lockdown and because of this virus. So I think that's holding a lot of things up. Otherwise, we'd be probably pushing ahead to get the production going over here.
Wow. Where are you guys actually going to shoot this project?
It will be filmed in the States. It starts in the States. Then it comes to Ireland. And then we'll be filming in Belfast in Northern Ireland.
Oh, how exciting. But you have like pretty much an international cast right now. You have an American actor that's directing. Who are some of the people you have attached to it? Tell us. I'm so excited about this.
So we have Tamar Devaney, who is attached to be the director. My co-writer, which is a very talented writer. I would have sent him the concept, what I wanted. So for the last 5 years, we'd have been in after emailing back and forth till we got it right. And we finally, last year, we locked in the whole TV series of 16 episodes. So, and you have Matthew Rafferty, who is actually from Chicago. He is my co-writer. So, and then you have, we have a kind of man that would be just doing the legal side of things. His name is Paul Gordon. So we have a very strong team at the moment, and we're hoping to build more around it, but getting people to find product placement and stuff, you know.
Tell us about some of the things you've done, because you've won some awards, and it's pretty exciting.
Well, I suppose I started off in school. My schooling wouldn't have been the best. I had a lot of stuff going on when I was a child, and I suppose I took to acting in a way that I could be someone else for just them few minutes on a stage, and it would have saved me.
Right.
Because I would have lived the life where I had to wear masks and dealing in reality and stuff like that, and I created my own little, I suppose you could call it a non-reality, but it was my reality. And I kind of went into acting. I went back to college. Before I went to college, I used to have always got lead actor in plays and stuff like that. And a lot of the lads would have been older than me, and I would have been young at the time. But I took to acting, and I loved every bit of it. So when we were given a script to learn, I wouldn't just learn my lines, I would learn everyone's lines. And I'd have everyone's lines in my head, so that when we did go in doing rehearsals, if someone forgot their lines, I'd be able to prompt them myself. You know?
I love that.
So, yeah, it's, I decided, everyone used to say to me, you know, that I was talented, I had first talent. Now, I did fight. To be honest, I did fight a drink and drug addiction for a long time. And I'm away from that now, thanks be to God. And I'm living one day at a time, you know. But I would have gone into the acting, and I would have got performances in the likes of the Everyman Theatre, the Half Moon Theatre. They would be big places in Cork City. And then, unfortunately, with addiction, it came back again, and I ended up going out of the loop for a long time. And then I decided to go to college, and in college my teacher asked me to write a 10-minute play about my life experience. And I wrote this play. It was part of an exam and an assignment, and I got a distinction for it. And what happened then is that it was put away for about 2 years, was never used. And I was coming out of town one time, and I met this teacher that works with disadvantaged young people. And he asked me, would I put on it? Would I come up and do drama with the young lads up there? And I said it would be an honor to go up and work with lads, you know. and we went up because they told me, now, bear in mind, I thought, no, I was only going up doing the drama and, you know, doing lessons with them and teaching them a bit of drama. But when I went up, I was told, basically, that we have a week to prepare a play and perform in front of the Lord Mayor of Cork, right? So I said, right, how are we going to do this? There's no way I'm going to have time. I like to give everyone a chance. I wanted them to write their own play. But I knew if they wanted to write their own play, they wouldn't have had it done in time. So I said, look, I have a play. It's a drug awareness short play. There's peer pressure in it. There's drug addiction in it. There's domestic violence in it. There's self-harm in it. There's all the topics that would deal with socially with kids and young adolescents. So they loved it. They loved everything about it, you know. And so we put it on in the night of the play for the Lord Mayor, and it got massive recognition. So then I said, look, I'd love to take the play to my old school. Now, my old school would have thrown me out of that school years and years ago. I was asked to leave because I would have been very disruptive and stuff like that. And then I went back to the school to put on a play. And the play got something like 5 awards. We got Best Actor. We got Best Original Script. We got Best Social Play. We got Best Overall Play. And then the adjudicator of the night wrote to me and he asked me to make it into a short film. So I made it into a short film. At the start, I wasn't making it into a short film because I went through, it's amazing how it happened actually, because I went through the Yellow Pages to look to see could I find a production team that would actually make it. So I went through the whole lot of the Yellow Pages. The Yellow Pages will be a phone book, right? Mm-hmm. And looking for production companies. And basically, there was no one there. And then one day I opened the book again. Right at the back, there was this production company called AV3 Productions. And I said to myself, I'll give them a ring. So I gave them a ring, told them the story, told them what I was doing. And they said, oh my God, they said, your timing is brilliant. We're just after getting in a red camera. A red camera now would be about £150,000, £150,000. And that would be serious quality to use for making a short film, you know?
Right.
And they said, we'd love to try it out with your short film. So I said, yeah, let's do it. And we done it. And it just turned out very good. It's actually on YouTube. It's called The Dark Room. And I sent it to the Cannes Film Festival in 2011. And at the time, I didn't have internet. So I was going in and out of the internet place, the internet shop in Cork. And basically, I got a phone call off the local newspapers and the world newspapers, the News of the World, the Sunday World, the Star, the Mirror, saying, congratulations, your film has been selected at the Cannes Film Festival. And I just went, oh, this is amazing. Then I ended up...
Wow. That must have blown your mind. Did you ever think that was going to happen?
No, I never thought I'd actually get the film to that far, you know? Because
explain to our viewers about Cannes Film Festival. Do you apply? I mean, do you submit your film, or what's the process like? Because I know in some film festivals you submit your film. Is that how it works for that, or it has to be submitted by?
It has to be you. First of all, I know you have to have a credit as a director or a producer, and you have to have credits done, as in done stuff before they'll accept you. So I was lucky. I was after doing 2 short films and stuff before, and 2 little short films with disadvantaged young kids again. You know, I love working with disadvantaged young kids because I know I just get a bit of. It's where my passion comes out, working with young people to bring a young person from that was so introverted and bring them out in a film or on a stage. That's for me, that's powerful, like, you know. But you submit it, you upload your short film or your feature film online, and you could be waiting 6 weeks, 7 weeks before you get an email to find out are you accepted, and then you get your email, you're accepted. So when I was accepted, I got all the newspapers to contact me, and then I had the local news station here that wanted to do an interview with me. So the phone was just hopping. It was like I became my past of my drug addiction made me famous in the end by turning my life around and putting it on paper first and then putting it in film. And then I went to the Cannes Film Festival. The story about the Cannes Film Festival is just it's just unbelievable. Were you ever in Cannes?
I have not. I've been to France. I've not been there, and I really would love to go. And to go back to my question, do you have to be? Did you submit the film to Cannes, or was it submitted for you?
Oh, I submitted the film. You upload your film to a link.
Okay, and you have to do it by a certain time. So when you did it, you're just like, oh,
yeah,
we'll see
what happens. Yeah.
And then when you submit it to that, do you get to do other ones? Because I know some of them are very exclusive. They're like, well, if you submit it here, you can't submit it there. Is that how it works with Cannes, or not really?
Yeah,
Right.
Cannes. It's like I tell you about when I submitted that film to Cannes Film Festival, because of the genre of the short film, which was drug awareness and all the social issues that would affect young people. My local film festival here refused it. And the same year it was selected to the Cannes Film Festival. So then people were asking, what's going on in the film festival here? If his film was selected to one of the biggest film festivals in the world and refused in his hometown. But then I put it to, the film industry can be a lot of politics around film festivals. I've noticed that.
How did that work for you? Because you were a little bit on the unknown side at the time, right?
Yeah, I was a nobody. I would have been known because I've turned my life around with the drinking, drugs and stuff, and I would have been on a thing in Cork at the time called Crime Capitals. But I was just a nobody, but my life just changed automatically. And then I started getting interviews like radio stations would contact me and interview me. And then they used to contact me and they asked me, how could we deal with this and how could we deal with that? And, they used to be asking me for advice in regards to the drug problem that was in Cork at the time. And, but it's been an amazing experience, because we went over there and we stayed in Nice, me and another actor that was in the short film. And when we stayed in Nice, the hotel we were staying in wasn't the best, right? So I actually went down to the man at the receptionist and I asked him to sign a piece of paper saying we're leaving this hotel. And I'm laughing at it now because it brings back memories. We went into, we had nowhere to stay. And we went into, we were on the beach with our tuxedos behind our heads, lying down in the sand. Nowhere to stay whatsoever. And then we went we met this lady, and she was Dutch. She actually passed away since. And she said, well, look, I'll take your number and I'll ring you. So we got a phone call about 7 o'clock in the evening, and we were brought down where all the yachts were and everything. And I said, oh my God, I said to my buddy Frank, I said, we're after landing on our feet here. Where are they bringing us? Right? So we kept on walking. We passed all these yachts that were 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. I was there, whoa, what's happening now? And then right in between two yachts, which were about 3 million and 4 million, there was a small little fishing trawler. There was a small little fishing boat, right? And we ended up staying in the fishing boat and getting dressed in our tuxedos and going to the premieres and everything in the boat. It was brilliant when I think of it.
That story.
It's just unbelievable.
That's a great story.
Yeah, it's like I always said I wanted to go back to Cannes, and I brought my first feature film to sell it in Cannes in 2014, and it was called The Vein Within, and that's on YouTube as well. It's another drug awareness feature film, but it's in memory of a friend that helped me turn my life around from drugs. And believe it or not, the story to it is that the fella that played the lead role, he actually passed away in 2015 now as well from a drug overdose, and he played the lead role in that movie as well, and he OD'd in that movie. So it's a bit it was raw, you know.
Oh wow.
But
So
the next time Roman,
how long was that after he shot that movie that happened?
he started filming in 2011. We started filming in 2010, 11, 12, 13. It took us about 3.5 years about 3.5 years to 4 years to make it, because we'd no budget. It was just beg, borrow, steal. It was guerrilla filmmaking, and every obstacle that was there went against us in making a movie. Everything was never supposed to come out. Never. The hard drive crashed. We lost the footage. We filmed 36 mini tapes, our tapes, and we lost the footage, and we had to go back into the film centre in Cork because they had it backed up, and we had to edit the whole lot of the movie again to get it ready for the Cannes Film Festival. That movie was never meant to come out. I don't know how it came out in the end. It was just weird. We sent the hard drive away to Dublin that night to a forensic place there where they went with the white suits to see can they retrieve the footage. No, gone.
That must have been devastating. That says a lot about you, how you were able to overcome that and still do that.
Yeah, it was just, I was saying, no matter what's going to happen here, I'm going to bring this movie out. You know, it was like that. That was the crunch time when everything, and I always say to this day that if we got the first one right and the hard drive didn't crash, we would have got a distribution deal. We didn't get a distribution deal the second time round because there was little crackles in the sound and stuff like that. We had to edit it fast because Cannes were waiting on it, and you know, so it's been a journey.
So how was it? Explain the experience of being at that film festival.
Oh, how can I describe it? It's a different world, but there's a lot of, like, you don't, like, to be honest, like, you always see the good side and the glossy side of Cannes, and you know, the yachts and the best dresses and the best of people going around, but on the other side, there's the other side of it, the side where the locals don't like the film festival going on, and they actually cause trouble and stuff like that. That you don't hear of that, but it's amazing because it's the minute the Palme d'Or is given out, is the last award. And then the fireworks go off, and then it's like the council come in, the corporation, and it's like in the space of 4 hours, they just changed the whole place around. It was like the festival didn't even exist by taking up road markings off the ground, barriers. It's just, I never seen the likes of it in my life. We were sitting down having a bite to eat, and you could have bites to eat over there very late at night, and we were sitting down, we were still watching the workers cleaning up the place, and it was just 4 hours. I looked at them and I said, I don't believe this. It's actually 4 hours they're at this, and the whole place is all changed.
Did it help your confidence after that? Because, you know, going through a drug addiction, making a movie, then doing that, did you start thinking anything's possible and apply that to your projects afterwards?
Well, to be honest, I'm 45 now. And my dream is to hold an Oscar by the time I'm 50.
You got 5 years.
That's my dream. 5 years. I've 5 years to hold an Oscar.
I
And
love
I will do it because you will never meet a person with so much passion as me when it comes to film. It's like the cast actually of the Vayman done an interview on a radio station, and they said it's like I put on blinkers on both sides, and it's just like tunnel vision.
I always ask the question, who were you surprised that was a fan of yours that you were always a fan of? Did someone ever come out that was like, wow, I love your stuff, and you were like, wow, you've actually seen it? Have you had that experience?
Yeah, I was actually, this is mad when you say that, because I used to go to a lot of recovery meetings in Dublin, in up Dublin, just Cork is probably about 360 miles away from Cork. I used to get the train up. I used to have meetings up there. We were working on another project, and I remember I was wearing a suit. We were going to meet a lawyer or a solicitor for paperwork for another project and stuff like that. And I remember getting on the train and going up to Dublin, and I got on the Lewis. It's like a dart. It'd be like a dart in America, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like, but it's overground. Dart will be underground, but this be Lewis, but it will bring it to different train stations and stuff like that, and it brings it to different areas in Dublin. So I remember getting off the train and going over, and the Lewis comes down just by the train. And I got on the Lewis, and I never forget this. The Lewis was actually packed. I had my laptop and my laptop case, because it was a big conference meeting with a crew of 20 or stuff like that. And there was this man, I'd say he was in his 30s, and he was a drug addict, and he was an active drug addict. And he was actually on the influence of drugs at the time. And he lifted his head up and he looked through all the people, and he could see me down the end. And he says, I know you. And I says, you know me? He said, no, you don't know me at all. He says, I know you. And then he went down again, and then he came back up and he says, you're a good man. And I said, oh yeah. He says, you're a film director. And I said, oh my God. Now, this was a man that was in the height of addiction. He probably didn't even know what day it was, and he remembered me being on a TV station about 4 years previous, and he was able to remember that, and he probably couldn't remember to go to what day it was, if it was raining or, and it touched me, because whatever happened to that man, he remembered me from 4 years ago, and it showed that, I gave someone some inspiration, even though he was still using drugs, but I gave him something. I may have given him a bit of hope or something, because out of the blue, the Lewis was packed, and he points down, I know you. I know you. And it's just amazing. It was mind-blowing, actually, when I think of it. I had another few things. I had a car one time in Cork, came down around the corner and skidded and jammed the brakes. And this girl jumped out and she goes, I want a photograph with you. I want a photograph with you. And I said, why? She said, oh, I want a photograph with you. And they actually skidded and joined and jammed on the brakes. She jumped out. And I said, yeah, no problem. Yeah, it's been weird, but yeah, you just brought me back down after that. That was a mad experience, actually, when I think of it.
That is so powerful. That you have some stories. I mean, do you ever think about writing an autobiography about all these experiences? Or you're waiting for the Oscar for that?
Do you want to know the truth?
I want to know the truth.
I started writing my biography. I'm about 3/4 through it. it's not finished yet because as you just said, my last piece is the Oscar, and I will get that Oscar. I know that. I know I'll get that Oscar. I visualize it every day. I ask for it every day, and I will get it because what I learned is that if your dreams need to be goals. Because if they're not goals, they're just dreams.
I love
And that's
that.
what I go with. That's what I go with every day. I go with that. Like I get up in the morning, I have my day off to a God of my own understanding, and I get on with my life. But I always have some vision of something going on. Like people would say, I'd sit down and watch a movie. But I wouldn't watch the movie. I'd be looking at how they're doing that shot, or how did they manage to do that. And it's like, I've always been very creative in my mind, and I've always believed that. My mum went to a fortune teller, and the fortune teller told my mum, this was years ago, and told my mum that you're worried about your son. Your son is caught up in a lot of stuff at the moment, and he's going to come to a crossroads, and he's neither going to take a right or a left, and I think he's going to take a right. And all my life, I wanted my own four-wheel drive with tinted windows, because I never wanted someone to see me for who I really was, right? I wanted to be in the dark. And she turned around and she says, your son is going to be very, very successful. He's writing at the moment. And I was writing. I was in college at the time. And she said, yeah, he's writing and he does acting and stuff. Yeah, she said, your son is going to be huge. She said, he has a lot of challenges to face along the way. But he has a lot of ups and downs. But he's going to turn out and he's going to have light shine on his name. And my mum was just getting up, and my dad would have been very healthy at the time. And she said, your husband is going to get very ill, to my mum. And my dad ended up getting a mysterious illness 9 years ago, where he lost all the weight in his whole body. He has no muscle in his body. And he lost it. And it was a fortune that I told my mum this years and years ago. She said my sister would come home to live in Ireland. And just before she left, she said to my mum, she said, your son, and tell your son he's going to get his four-wheel drive with his tinted windows.
Wow.
The name of my biography is called Victim, Survivor, Thriver.
I love it. I cannot wait for that to come out. Bill,
Yeah.
this was so awesome. Thank you so much for coming on my show. And next time we're gonna have the whole gang from the movie. We have to have
Yeah.
everybody from the next project. I am so
Well, what we could do is that if we're filming in the States, we'd have no problem coming off to doing a live interview.
oh, that would be amazing. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Well,
know,
thank you so much. We're gonna keep up with you and everything that you're doing.
Right, the page is on Facebook, Guns, Drugs and Rivals. That's the feature film.
Okay.
Please give it a like, support it, share it, share it like wildfire. And then you have Rivals 1970s. That's the TV series.
So we're gonna go
That's
to both
connected
pages.
to it.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sounds great.
And,
We will.
And I just want to say thanks for having us on. Thanks for having me on the show. And all I say before I go is that if your dreams don't scare you, they're just not big enough.
I love that. Thank you so much, Phil.
No problem. You take care.